host Ashley Tate here with my co-host Christy Largent, and today we're going to kind of be out of the country for a while. We're going to be speaking with Miriam and Adam Walter, and they are supporting a project called Afghan Girls School. Is that correct? I mean, this is kind of an interesting project because the way you happened upon it and kind of all the backgrounds that are intertwined are very interesting. So tell us a little bit about kind of how you guys got involved with Afghan Girls School.
Okay, so I was born in Pakistan and lived there until I was 10. My parents were missionaries, and it always tugged at my heart. I sort of always wanted to go back, but didn't think I would. And then 8 years ago when I met Adam, he also had a connection in Pakistan. We ended up in Chico, and we love Chico. I teach nursing at CSU, and I started a PhD program. We started getting really interested in promoting girls' education. And then I had an opportunity to go with students to India. So I came home and said, Adam, we've got a chance to go to Pakistan. And
since you kind of already had that history, it kind of,
yes,
it wasn't hard for you to make that decision, right, to go back?
Well, absolutely. So when Miriam said that this trip was on to India, I said, well, we can't go to India and not go visit the family in Pakistan.
That's right.
I'd been there 4 times previously. First time in 1958 when I visited my grandmother who lived in that part of the world. She had converted to Islam in the 1930s. And so I still had family connections there. And I wanted to go and do something to honor her legacy. She had started a little school in the village up there and a little clinic, and she was still revered, and she's buried up there on a little hill up there with her husband.
Oh, wow.
So the chance to go there with Miriam and introduce her to my Pakistan family and to visit her roots and her origins was not to be passed up.
No, and so you were doing, your parents did missionary work there, correct?
Yeah.
And then so you kind of found yourself kind of full circle here in your PhD program.
Yes.
And then so how did you guys kind of come into this Afghan Girls School?
Well, we were looking for an additional way to support girls' education, specifically in Pakistan. And so after we learned we were going to Pakistan, we're connected with Quakers in Chico, and we learned about an Afghan refugee girls' school in Pakistan that was started by a Quaker organization in Orange Grove and 12 years ago, and it's still going strong. They have 600 girls. It was close to where we would be visiting anyway.
Wow.
They haven't been able to go back because of security reasons, so it was just a fit.
It was a fit.
So you, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, that's all right.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what is this, where, can you give us a picture of where the school is in Afghanistan?
Sure.
So we can kind of, we see the news and we hear about Kabul and we hear about all this, so give us a little like visual of where it is in the country.
Okay, so there are Afghan refugees in Pakistan. So it's not in Afghanistan, but it's close to the border of Afghanistan. It's in a town called Akorakatak, which is quite close to Peshawar. And people will have heard of Peshawar. It's where 148 children were killed about 6 weeks ago in a Taliban attack. So Peshawar is the gateway to the Khyber Pass. So that's the funnel through which traffic goes to Afghanistan, the old Silk Road. So it's a very, very old city, and it's right up on in the tribal areas of northwest Pakistan.
And this refugee camp started back with the invasion of Russia when refugees came into Pakistan, and so Pakistan gave them a floodplain, and now there are about 60,000. So it's not a camp; it's a town.
It's a town.
No, that was around 1970 something.
79, 80,
okay.
Yeah, late 70s.
So just for some of you to give you a little bit of a background, and you guys are probably gonna kill me for saying this, but the book Kite Runner was set during that time period. When you talk about the Russians coming in and all that stuff, right? And so that kind of can give like a little bit of a
context?
A little context to what you guys are talking about, what was going on during that time period.
Sure.
Right, and like the landscape and all of that.
Well, landscape's amazing. I travelled through Afghanistan in 1974 when it was still open to travel through there, and the Russians came in the late 70s. And then there was the civil war, and the Mujahideen were fighting against the Russians. The Americans supported the Mujahideen, who morphed into the Taliban. But the refugees started coming out of Afghanistan then into Pakistan, and a Kurakatak refugee camp was established then. And so there was another influx when the Taliban were in control, and then another influx of refugees after the Americans went in looking for Osama bin Laden. And so this town of 60,000 people, there are children born there of parents who were born there. So it's a town. It's a refugee camp.
So it's interesting, some statistics, I was looking at your brochure, which is really thorough, and it is that most girls marry before they're 16 years old, 57%. And as well, their literacy rates are astonishingly low for men and women. Men are only 31% are literate, and 15% of the women. So this school is directly addressing kind of those two things, right?
Yes.
Do you want to talk to that a little bit?
Yes, and the statistics in the camp are even worse. So until this school started 12 years ago, there was no education for girls in the camp. It did not exist, and even for boys, the literacy rate, you know, may be below 50%.
So in 30 years, basically, there had been no. So you have a whole generation of uneducated, right? Whose children are now, whose girls are specifically being offered the opportunity of education.
And we know that education really is the key, not only for literacy, but to get out of poverty, to have decreased birth rates, abuse, just so many socio-political issues. And just to get to 6th grade, which is how far these schools go, is really important, and it just plants the seeds for future generations, and that's what we want to support.
No, I think it's great. Now, just so that for our viewers, you can hear that there's a little bit of a southern accent going on here.
With Miriam.
And, with Miriam, and then also an accent going on with you guys as well. So I think it'd be nice for the viewers to kind of know what your background is and how you kind of got to Chico. And we know that you're a professor at CSU, but tell us a little bit about like where you started.
Yeah, so when we returned to the States, we were in New York State for a while with my family, and I went to high school in Southern Ohio, so I guess that's where the accent started, but I lived in Kentucky for 25 years.
And that's where it stayed, right? Like, stay there. And then your accent is...
I'm from New Zealand. Well, the accent's from New Zealand. My dad was from Connecticut and met my mom. She was British, and he met her during the Second World War, and I was born in London, so so I'm a bit of a global nomad, I guess.
Yeah.
I think such an interesting thing of your fact is that your relatives in Afghanistan are there because of the British Empire, right? And they were born and raised there because they were part of that British Empire, which is pretty fascinating to me.
So my mother was homeschooled by her mother in the hill stations of India.
Who also had her school, right? Your grandmother.
She started the little school in the village there. After my mother had long since gone back to the UK and met my father and so forth. So that was
interesting,
That's
so people want to know more about this, the school. The AfghanGirlsSchool.org is the easy way. Now, what else can they do to help you? What else can they do to help with this?
Well, contribute, and that was. I'm not a fundraiser by nature, but having been to this place, it just seemed okay. I was in construction for a while. I could see that there was deferred maintenance that was way overdue. There was work needed to be done. Wells needed to be put in, latrines, just basic stuff. Blackboards, construction, maintenance, keep the roofs up. It's earthquake territory. But what could I do? The best thing I could do was to come back here and raise some money to support this work. The budget is $57,000 a year. It's less than $100 per child to stay in school. And these girls, even though they leave after 6th grade, and they may very well have children of their own before they're even 16 years of age, but they have literacy, they have a belief in the value of education. And it was quite a revelation for us to see my grandmother's stepdaughter, who's now 90 years old, and her 2 female grandchildren who are now doing a doctorate in plant virology and a master's degree in geology. 50 years ago, 60 years ago, those little girls were being homeschooled in a village 50 miles from here. In the same way that these little girls are being schooled now. And so the question's often asked, well, what happens to these girls? We want an instant result. You know, it's America, you know. We want them all to suddenly become doctors and lawyers tomorrow. It ain't gonna happen. There's a whole societal change that's got to happen, and like, you know, feminism in the 60s and the 70s,
it's a process.
So there's a process, and education is such an important seed.
Well, it gives them a vision of what's possible, not only for themselves, but for their community. And it really will.
And you guys do something every year, right? So you guys have your...
we're hoping to. This is really Adam's project, but he's doing a fundraiser Easter weekend, April, and we hope for it to become an annual event in Chico with a banquet with Afghan food and music and.
Sounds fun.
Introducing the school and also the food and the culture to our culture, and you know.
And it's the Saturday before Easter.
The Saturday of Easter.
Easter
Saturday.
Easter Saturday.
Between Friday and Sunday.
Yes. So that would be where it falls. So I want to say your website one more time. You want to say your website for us, the Afghan Girls School. .org. Okay. So thanks you guys so much for being on. We really enjoyed it. So fascinating. We are looking forward to coming back in a minute with the second half of our show.
And we're here with Matt York. He is the founder of Video Maker, and also what we're going to be talking about today, OMPT, which means One Mobile Projector per Trainer. That is a mouthful, and I got it done. Okay, you tried to challenge me, but we got it done. So this is going to be really interesting. We've got like little bags here that's going to be unveiled at some point when he tells us about our.
So tell us, Matt, tell us a little bit about what you're doing. You brought we have show and tell, so this is awesome. We had show and tell the first half with the clothing from Afghanistan, and now we're talking about some amazing stuff happening in 50 of the poorest countries in the world, right? So tell us a little bit about it.
So One Mobile Projector per Trainer is a nonprofit organization where its mouthful name is its goal. So we want each trainer in the 50 poorest countries in the world to have a mobile projector that's a battery-powered, cordless video projector so that they can be more effective trainers in any discipline. It could be agricultural extension, literacy, numeracy, health education, civic engagement. So these people who are in the poorest countries in the world are trapped in poverty typically because they lack information. So this is an information solution. One mobile projector per trainer.
Okay, and so they're able to, from what I understand, they're able to take their own information that they created on their own, however that may be, with these video cameras, and they're able to project it to, I'm using a term, village, so that they can, you know, spread the communication like we would get from the internet.
Exactly. So I'll fill in the blanks there. So what we do is that we have one of our employees is constantly reaching out to decision makers at charities or non-government organizations or ministries of government in the 50 poorest countries in the world. And we'll use my last project as an example. 4 weeks ago, I got back from Guinea in West Africa, so I'm now past my 21-day quarantine period. Otherwise,
Thank you.
And there, we trained 36 people representing 20 NGOs over a 4-day period. We did a 4-day video education workshop where we did a lecture about script writing, for example. I would do a lecture, it would be translated into French, and after an hour, we would break into small groups where a local video trainer people we hired that live in Guinea. They learned about us through videomaker.com, which is another story you're going to ask me about soon.
Yeah, I am.
And we hired them, and they break into small groups, and they facilitate. So a lecture about shooting video, and then a lecture about a small group activity, a lecture about editing video, and a small group activity. And at the end of the 4 days, we had 36 people in Guinea who knew how to make video. So the video they make is made by people who are on camera like we are, but here we're in Reading, so my skin color, my wardrobe, and my voice, and the background says USA, says Western.
Absolutely.
But the work we do, it's really putting the locals on camera so they sound like, look like, dress like, and are in the context of. But even in Conakry, Guinea, the people in rural Guinea didn't trust the experts in Conakry because they thought there was a plot to kill them. So we help them make video in rural Guinea so that the local language and the local wardrobe and customs, so that ultimately we seek behavior change. We want to make videos that seek behavior change, like when your baby is sick and it's maybe bleeding from the nose, you cannot touch your baby. You must call the authorities. And that's a really tough behavior to change. So we help them make videos to achieve that behavior change.
Yeah, well, you're basically making a video so that you can spread the information that's necessary. And I mean, that's something that can change so many things in our world, you know, because things are perpetuated through poverty and lack of information. Go ahead.
No, I'm dying to know
what's in the secret sacks,
what's in the secret sacks. I have a feeling this is what each of your 36 video people got after the training.
So
we have 3 different bags here.
Yep. And in this case, in Guinea, the Center for Disease Control contracted with us to do this work. So we have our little insignia on our little care packages. So we'll start with the video camera kit, because we're sitting in front of 3 cameras, although people in the audience don't know that. This is a little baby tripod. And if there's a lack of a nice solid platform, it actually can wrap around the branch of a tree. So it's just so stable video is really what separates bad video from good video. It's got to be stable.
It's got to be stable.
All right. This is
unless it's a horror movie, right?
Yeah, that's right. This is a little bracket that is a mystery until I show you what we'll use it for. So inside of this, we have a video camera, which is basically an Android phone. So we put that video camera in this bracket, and now we have a stable picture, right?
I love that.
Then we have this 25-foot extension cord that connects to a lapel microphone that is kind of like the one that you can barely see here. Oh, I'm touching it, ruining it now. Sorry about that. So there's the lapel microphone allows the subject to have the microphone just 6 inches from their mouth rather than 15 feet or 25 feet. So this phone, we talked about it earlier. This phone makes better video than those 3 cameras, and it's really kind of amazing. Not a slam at the station, but the reality that we live in this incredible world where the technology is chugging along faster than we can really catch up with. So this is the video shooting kit. It's got a surge protector in the event that you actually are near a wall plug, but all of these things can be charged far off the grid.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Where we talk about the fact that once this video is shot, we get it into a laptop computer, and we use Windows Movie Maker, which is a free download from Microsoft, and we train people how to use that. So we can, I guess, push this down so it's not so complicated to look at all this stuff.
So they don't even need
here's your video camera.
Okay, segue to that. Segue to that.
Yes.
So this is the recharging kit. Right, so in the recharging kit, there's 3 ways to charge it. There's a solar panel where, like, after about 7 hours in good sun, that's fully charged, or the mysterious stuff in the sack is recharged.
Wow.
In the event
Wait, no, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Now, this solar charging station. Okay, did you develop that?
No, actually, we just assemble these kits.
Things. Okay.
Now we do have a purpose-built machine that I'll describe later that we are seeking to build someday. But that's hidden in this bag.
Okay. So finish this one.
Okay. So then, occasionally in rural areas there are automobiles that might wind up nearby, so we plug that in the dashboard and recharge it.
Oh my
Here.
And lastly, we have, there's always motor scooters in rural communities. So you connect these to a motor scooter battery, and you can recharge all of the things that we're talking about today.
Fantastic.
That is
unbelievable.
So how long did it take you, and I know you still have this bag, but how long did it take you to come up with this? And did you have a team working with you to kind of figure out what all you would need to make this work, or was this all from your amazing brain?
Well, so it's about 7 years now, and we finally have a couple of paid employees. But the first 5 years was like me, connecting with NGOs around the world and kind of showing up at their doorstep and saying, I have this vision, I don't really know what it's like, and I would iterate on the spot. So really, it's a lot of miles and a lot of hours on airplanes led to these kits, and they continue to change. So we didn't use this probably 7 months ago, and it had a different panel.
Okay.
But amazing. This is our last mystery kit. This is the video projection kit. And amazingly, there is a video projector in here.
Oh, come on.
So it's hard to appreciate this because we have such bright lights here. But this is loud enough and bright enough for 50 people to watch video. I'm pointing it in the lens over there so you can kind of see that. So it's pretty bright. And
Come on.
And we can actually, maybe, can we just hold this up for 1 second? You can at least see
that
there's a video image there. But it's really hard to appreciate because there's so much light right now.
Oh, come on.
Right back here.
It's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
That is amazing.
So you just have to believe me that it's loud enough and bright enough for 50 people. So you can imagine that in a rural village, in a hut, I turn this on, and people maybe never saw video before. They certainly never saw it on the wall of their hut before.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So when I deliver this, I feel like I am delivering a miracle. And they are awestruck. Their jaws drop, and and initially they think, okay, what is his real agenda? He's a white guy, and there were no other white people around here, and he's here claiming he's got some desire to help. After a couple days, they finally actually believe it, that you actually came here to help us.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Okay,
after.
for you viewers, this is smaller than a deck of cards. I mean, this is a projector. Back in the day, I used to haul around my projector, and it was this huge thing, and I was thrilled it was so small. This is amazing. Then you didn't create this, you just found it.
Right. So if a person who wasn't adept at using video gear were to drop it in a puddle, it would probably not work again. But we have a design-built product that would tolerate dropping in a puddle from maybe 3 feet, or would tolerate a dusty environment. All of these things really are made for Westerners like us who want to impress our friends or do something like that. So we hope in the next 3 years we actually have this purpose-built device.
So how do you, so if something does go wrong, say they do drop it and it does get ruined, how do they contact you to fix it? How does it work? Like, what's your repair situation? How do you make that?
Most of the stuff can be repaired in country or replaced in country. Most, you can probably get a bigger solar panel. And cell phone shops, which erupt in every little village where there's cell phones, there's a repairman there who kind of erupts there, and they could fix a lot of it except the light engine. The light engine is LED, and it is just really, really incredibly efficient, but you really can't get replacement. So we just have the NGO buy enough to supply those that might break. So I mean, it'd be wonderful if they lasted forever, but they may not. So we just have to kind of buy a few more.
And you've been doing this for 7 years. How many countries are you in right now?
We're in about a dozen countries, and I mentioned earlier that the local video trainers that we hire are connected through videomaker.com, which is a for-profit company I started about 30 years ago. And we have...
By Matt, but you didn't say that.
Yes, by me.
That he started, and tell us how you started that.
So I started that, just kind of felt like I loved video, and that video could serve humanity in some unique way. I started making films in high school, actually Super 8 film, the stuff you actually touch with your hands and put fingerprints on it. But ultimately these days now we're using this really high-tech video gear. So we collect this network of 1,500 local video trainers around the world. So we get in country, we bring 2 people with us, Video Makers Without Borders. Those are volunteers that pay their own way. And we connect with local video trainers, and we do these 4-day workshops and empower people with all of this gear.
So how can people support this project?
Well, just really, to learn more, visit the website, OMPT.org. There's a place there to donate. You can become a member, a recurring member, or a one-time donor. But really telling your friends and relatives about it, really just having hope collectively that we can be the generation that abolishes poverty, that has been the this embarrassing blight on the world that we're all these earthlings and we're in this comfortable place here in Reading, but there are people who are dying. Like every 5 seconds, a child dies someplace because they're poor. They just lack information, a mosquito net or something. So just visit the website, believe, donate, but really just believe that we can make poverty history.
That is just so encouraging. Thank you for doing this work. You're changing so many lives, and what a treat for us to find out about this. OMPT.org, and our earlier one earlier this morning we were looking at the Afghan Girls School.org. So thanks for watching the forum. We loved having you, and we'll see you again next time.